Hello, what is
Hello.
up?
Hi. How you
Hey,
doing?
I am fantastic. I definitely can't complain. I'm happy.
I'm happy too. Like I could
Yeah.
shed a tear of happiness. I feel great. It's good. Life is good. I made it back in time for the show too. So I'm happy
I'm
about that.
happy. Yeah. I'm
Yes.
happy that it's all safe because I know over here it's all heavy tea storming and stuff.
Oh, okay. No, it's just regular weather over here. Hot. Very hot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Picked up my daughter. My oldest daughter picked her up. She just came back from training, military training. So I'm really
Yay.
excited to have her with me for a week, and I'm off a week, so I'm on vacation. Yes. Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. What you plan on
hmm
doing?
What am I planning on doing? We want to go shopping, go to the movies, want to watch the Barbie movie. I'm taking my son to see Teenage Kraken, so we're basically going to split up. We're going to go to
Mm,
Fire Island. We're going to go to the North Shore to go on the beach there. We're just going to try to do as much as possible and then relax. Yeah,
that sounds
that's the
fun.
plan.
That sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I can
Yeah.
definitely do that.
What you planning
I
on doing? Oh,
Well, I mean, I just got, well, I was on vacation last week. That was,
okay.
that was definitely a
Fun.
wonderful experience. I mean, I was at the
Mm-hmm.
beach like early morning, night, afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
It was a, definitely a riveting experience. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I got to, one night, it was, people were basically telling us if we go at night that we have a better chance of like um, getting more shells and even seeing starfish and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I just went out there because I just wanted to dance my bare feet on the sand and stuff under the moon, and I was just basically dancing like nobody was watching, but people were definitely watching because this guy came up to me and was like, "What type of dance are you doing? Is that some type of meditative dance?" I was like, "Yeah, basically just it's been an interesting past couple
Vibing out.
weeks, and I'm here just releasing, everything that I,
Mm-hmm.
encountered or experienced or just been around or just heard or seen, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I feel you. I feel way better.
I definitely didn't want to leave the beach though. I definitely plan on going back before,
Mm-hmm.
fall kicks in. But even
Okay.
still, even when fall kicks in the south, it really doesn't kick in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like fall, y'all have a fall. Y'all have foliage. Is that what
I mean, we
happens down there?
do, but it really, we still be, hot. The early morning could be really, really cold, and then the afternoon will be like, 90 degrees or something. So,
Mm-hmm. Okay. A happy medium. I like that.
yeah,
I like
I
early
have the
morning
happy
crisp
medium.
and then a nice warm weather in the afternoon. Sounds good to
Yeah,
me.
but a real relaxing weekend this weekend. So,
Mm-hmm.
I was just over watching some videos and cracking up. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, but I did see a really, really good interview from the Mad Hoffa podcast. He had Ed Lover on there, and my goodness, that interview was great from start to finish. OG,
Yeah.
Ed Lover. He dropped a
Uh-huh.
lot of gems in there on how, because he played a big part in hip hop, you know.
Yes, I believe
And,
so, yeah.
yeah, he really did. Like Yo MTV Raps, Hot 97, Power 105. He really did his thing. And
Mm-hmm.
it was just a very, very good interview. So if anybody listening, you get a chance to watch the Mad Hoffa interview with Ed Lover, that thing will definitely change your life. you
Well, it
know.
changed my life, you should.
I think it was, because he just dropped so much knowledge bombs in there and just was like, look,
Mm-hmm.
what we thought it was, like Biggie and Tupac, they were really friends. That whole
Mm-hmm.
East Coast, West Coast beef, that was something between Suge and Puffy. And
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was just he dropped a lot of good stuff in there, and just made me feel real happy. Like, wow, that's why I love hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
They was talking about how also the frequency of the music, just really really changed, and
Yeah,
and
like
how
literally
people
the
nowadays,
megahertz change.
yeah, and how people nowadays don't know how to make albums and good songs. They just make like a verse and then they just have a hook and that's it. The songs is like 2 minutes long, and then they're good
There's
at.
an example of that. I know a good example of that. That Barbie movie song with Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice. I
Oh
like the
my
song,
god.
but that I mean, all it does is repeat itself. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
All it does
That
is
song
repeat
was in my
itself
head all last week too.
all day today. I was singing it. My husband's like, That song, you need to stop." Azima. And
But the No, but the funny thing is, like every time I will put up a TikTok story, that
hmm
song would be like the designated song for that would come up first, and I just like, what freaking song is this? I would just let it play because I'm like, whatever. But
hmm
yeah, um, music is definitely interesting nowadays. Yeah.
you know, I can't really. I don't know what the process is of writing and stuff like that, but I know that process is disappearing. I don't know if there's a lot of writers out there, that's giving songs, music to people anymore. Everybody's just like a self-proclaimed rapper and saying they are rapping, and so
Well,
I don't know.
also, a lot of the like newer artists, they've been canceling their concerts and whatnot. Meanwhile, artists like Nas, 50 Cent, Wu
hmm
Tang, all them, they selling out their concerts. So it's like, what's the problem?
Yeah, I don't think maybe they're not making enough sales. I know they can cancel a concert if they feel like they're not making enough sales.
All
Like not
right.
enough people wanted to come and stuff like that. So shit like that
But hey, look,
happens.
but
Yeah.
hey, look at the music you're putting out. Like, look at all these artists that are like getting stuff thrown at them on stage.
Yes, I did hear about that.
Like, are they doing that to the more respected artists?
Um, I think it depends. I think people, people who come to concerts, not all of them are going there with the best intents. Because I've heard of actual, people like Pink. I would say she's a respected artist. She came out when I was like in high school and shit like that. So, but people were throwing stuff at her on the stage, you know. So, I just think the audience is not the same as it was in the past. Like, there's been a shift in that, like, in altogether. So, besides the music not being the same, and maybe the music is, creating the mindset to this audience that's changing. If you're making music that really isn't tapping into someone's soul, um, making them think, or whatever the case may be, it's just getting the body moving. It's not really changing the mindset of the person that's listening. They're just moving to a sound.
Right.
And like
And
you
then
were just
once
talking about megahertz, there's certain mega you said megahertz, right?
just the frequency, yeah,
The
frequency of the music,
frequency,
which is
there's certain
also the megahertz,
frequencies
yeah.
that generate negative responses. So if you're using music, and I feel like a lot of the music generate negative responses, then you're gonna get an audience that's not acting in your best interest, regardless of them being your fan.
Yeah, for real. Because they're
Yeah.
just addicted to the sound. They get addicted to the sound, and then they hear the
Mhm.
lyrics and everything, and the lyrics ain't really all that, empowering. Then you end up
Mhm.
getting a a Hennessy bottle thrown at you.
Mhm.
So,
Ice thrown
crazy.
at you.
Oh my goodness,
Not the water not the water you requested by ice.
oh my gosh, like when that video where they threw water at Cardi B when she came on stage with the
They threw
Sugar and
ice
Mike.
at water Cardi B. They
Yeah,
threw ice at her. She requested for them to throw water because it's hot. That guy
She
threw
requ-
ice.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! She requested to throw water.
Yeah, the whole video, she's like, "Yo, you throw water at me, it's hot," and blah blah blah. So I think the guy was trying to throw water, but through ice. And you could hear him as they're taking him out that he was apologizing. So it's like he didn't mean to throw ice at her. Maybe he didn't like. Oh, I'll do what she said, and then threw ice instead. Like
So you
it
see that?
wasn't.
You see how this whole industry is? It's like they stir stuff up to get, because I guess people will be attracted to like the negative aspect. Just like, I don't know if you've seen what took place in Alabama,
No,
recently. Oh my
I've not.
gosh. It was, yeah, you'll probably pop up on your feed soon, but
Mm-mm.
people in Alabama, they fighting it on the riverfront and stuff, and it was just terrible. It was a terrible
They're
sight to
fighting
see.
on the riverfront. You mean like fighting
Yeah,
like George Washington?
yeah. Well, some people. There was
They were
like
on
one
boats.
person that fell in the water, but
Oh my god.
it was, yeah, it was just insane. But
Uh-huh.
man. Before we get into episode 40, Wine Fine Podcast, season one finale
40.
recap, yes, we'll be taking a break and then resuming back on October 29th, 2023 for our season two.
Okay.
So,
Sounds great.
yeah. Oh, yeah. So, Azima, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at TikTok and Instagram as Azima the Only. That's Azima the Only, and you can find me on YouTube and Facebook as Ozidi Wellness and Fitness. That's Ozidi Wellness and Fitness. And where can we find you, Jovani?
So yeah, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Camp Jogo Fit. That's KampJogofit. And thank you so much, y'all. Our subscribers have definitely been climbing on YouTube for the Wine Fine podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely you can watch your older episodes there and just catch up on some great topics. We'll also be uploading some shorts in the near future so that you can
Mm-hmm.
basically hear the points,
The little
real,
clips. Yeah.
yeah, real clips that were, we have real powerful points, and then you'd be like, okay, well, let me listen to the whole episode then. So.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, the goal of, this episode was basically just to recap on uh a couple of our episodes where we got like the most viewers and listeners and everything. And, we kind of just wanted to like, just retouch base on those points as, as we're just watching social media, like we just keep getting hit with these topics. And
I feel like it just keeps on coming back. Like, you think that it's over with, and then it just spurs back up again. The
mhm.
same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see. So our episode 14, to need a man or not to need a man. I after re-listening to the episode, I did come up with a different perspective. But before I get into that whole conclusion that I had for that episode, let's just, just basically talk about, those points we had in there. Like it's no
Mm-hmm.
secret that our society, our roles have definitely um, took a turn and
Yes.
everything. So,
Yes.
we definitely moved on with the times, and
Mm-hmm.
things were definitely different back then, just due to certain changes in the world and this economy. It just
Mm-hmm.
basically required more of both of the sexes.
Yeah. Well,
So,
it it's basically as the economy boomed, and inflation and all that stuff. Like we're dealing with inflation right now. Women had to literally join the workforce, and then basically from that joining the workforce, they just grew in their own independence. They grew in their own path. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Because I've been
Mhm.
seeing a lot of memes coming up lately, and I definitely agree with them about
Mhm.
how it's a flex to be home with your kids. Like I remember somebody
Yes, it
put they
is
put up
pretty
a
awesome.
meme. Yeah, they was like, and the meme it said like I'm jealous of the woman that can be home with her kids and her husband's taking all the bills.
Mhm.
You know, so I just found that
Yeah, I
funny.
would say that's a flex.
That is
That's
a
pretty
flex,
good.
to be able to
Yeah. Mhm.
be home with your
Yeah.
kids, and you have every you have control over everything that they're learning, everything that's coming
Mhm.
into their psyche and everything. Because
Yeah.
I mean, we could both agree that the stuff we've been hearing about the school system lately and the books that they're allowing in school, you're like,
Mhm.
what the heck is going on? What are y'all doing? So,
Especially depending on the state you live in, of course.
yeah,
It
depending
can
on
be
the state.
worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a couple states they wasn't going for that, the agenda they was pushing on kids as far as like, you know, sexuality and everything. I'm like, okay, like it's one thing to teach
Mm.
sex education, but when you're getting
Mhm.
like really detailed and showing people intimate in
Mhm.
books, like, okay, y'all are
Yeah,
tripping.
that's
Y'all bugging.
yeah.
Y'all like the parents
Or
that go
school
to the
systems
school
that
board
want to,
meetings. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's
or
just
those school
crazy.
systems that want to teach children that slavery was a choice and they gained skills
Oh,
from it.
you know what's funny about that? Like freaking
Yeah.
DeSantis, there were other things that he would talk that he would push, and I'd be like, oh man, I'm feeling it. And then it's like on the other side that he does stuff like that, talk about the whole slavery thing. I'm like, what?
Mhm.
Like, you got to be careful with those people
Gain
that be on both
skills.
sides of the fence.
What did I say?
Yeah.
Remember that song I was singing from Hamilton? So how did it go?
Mm-mm-mm.
It says, talk less, smile more. Don't let them know what you're against or what you're for. It's like you're playing both fields. You're saying this, but then you're saying that, and you're talking from two sides of your face.
Yeah,
And
like
then next thing
Candace
you know
Owens.
it,
She, yeah,
like
she's
Candace.
notorious for that. It's like
Yeah.
sometimes I agree
So.
with her. I'm like, oh yeah, to say that. And then other times I'd be like,
Hmm.
what the fuck is you talking about?
Yeah.
But hey, let's
That's
grab
why
this
I
comment
just choose
real
not
quick.
to listen to that shit no more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
let's
I've
get the
been
comment.
yeah, I've been, every time, I haven't been listening to her lately. When I've seen new videos, I just scroll. I'm like, I'm not, I can't
Hmm.
listen to you anymore because there's just too much, you know, you're on both sides of the fence, and I'm just not with that. So let's get this
Yeah,
comment from
exactly.
Carol.
I think it depends on what you need the man for. Do you need the man as arm candy? Do you need the man to start a family with? Or do you need the man just for your own desires?
Companionship.
Yeah, but that's dangerous to just want somebody from companionship too.
Hmm. Yeah, because the moment they take their eyes off you, next thing you know, you're upset. Yeah,
Yeah.
we spoke about it in that show. The the reasons, or it wasn't that show. It was a reference to single mothers, but the reason why they end up being single mothers is because maybe they were companionship, and now she's showing all this attention to the baby, and they feel like they're not getting attention, and now they're alone. You know, because
Or even
they'd rather be with somebody who's showing them attention.
or even our episode when we talk about how to use discernment.
Hmm. Yeah.
I feel like after that show, that was episode 31, how to use discernment
Hmm.
to save your life. I felt like I opened myself up for a situation where it was like this show was like basically playing in the back of my head while I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing. Like, okay, boom, here goes one round of insecurity that I seen from him. All right, boom, here goes
Hmm.
another. Okay, boom, here
Hmm.
comes a love bomb. Okay, boom, here comes some more insecurity. Okay, boom,
Yeah.
now he's accusing accusing me of, you know,
Being with people.
being with or
Like,
wanting to be with somebody else. I'm like, look, I don't got time for this. And these type of conversations are healthy, because you never know who it can benefit. Hey, it can even benefit yourself,
hmm yeah.
because also, just like the to need a man and to not need a man. I remember, you mentioning that, your father didn't teach you how to make fufu and that, and
No,
everything.
he didn't teach me how to make fufu. I think the most I ever made was rice, and he wanted me to get that right. He's like, "If you get that right, you're good." And I'm like, "All right." But he never taught me how to cook anything else.
Fufu is real easy
I
to
didn't.
make though.
I'm
I
sure.
made it before.
Okay. I've watched my mom
Hmm.
make it. It just never caught on. It just didn't stick.
Yeah.
Still hasn't stick. Yeah. So,
But
but
what I did like also conclude from episode 14 was that you need a man and you don't need a man. Here's the type of man you don't need. The type of man that when you recognize that he's really digging you from his lower self instead of his higher self. Um,
mhm.
you don't, because I'm a comment that was said to me. It was like, "Oh, you need to be dick down." I was like, no, I don't," because
Dig down.
he dicked down. He said I needed to be dick
Dig
down. I'm like, okay,
down.
well, it's definitely not going to be from you, because
Mm.
you got a tremendous amount of emotional imbalances that I see. But before we
Mm.
get more into that, let's grab this comment from Natasha.
What up, what up, what up? Good evening, beautiful
Dig
ladies.
down.
It's and
Hi.
fine wine. What's good? What's good? What's good? I'm here late, but it's all
It's
good.
all good. Yes.
I was asleep, working 12 hours, but what up? What we talking about?
Oh
I know we
man.
got probably another half hour with you ladies.
Mhm. We're just recapping on the past episodes as we close this season today. That's what
Uh-huh.
we're doing. Yes.
Yeah. Shoot, I know I had to take me a nap earlier. I know it's
I
raining
did
over
not have
here
the
like
luxury.
crazy. Aw. But just going back to episode 14 about to need a man and to not need a
Mhm.
man. I just basically, stated you don't need, just somebody just to have someone there. Like
Mhm.
I did, like I mentioned that I did kind of open myself up some, and then just the stuff
Yeah.
that I was seeing, I was like, I can't, look past these red flags here, because it came to a
Mhm.
point where I was like, oh, I don't like this that he wears, that, and not to mention, he has an overactive throat chakra, and was just basically like talk too much or even said too much, and I was like,
Mhm.
so I'm like, and just very basically negative all the time, always talking about hoping for the worst or saying, "Oh, I know this person's gonna f with me," and da 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 da. And I'm like, yo, why you think like that?
Mhm. Well, some
So
people have underactive throat chakras too, which can be very unattractive. Because if you ain't saying nothing, what we doing here,
yeah,
right?
well, you know what? Well, okay, I won't say that I have an underactive one. I mean, I it's active when necessary for me. You know,
Yes, it's active by
I tend
intent.
to like listen more lately.
Mhm.
So and
Yeah.
yeah, if it's somebody that's like that, where you're just seeing a bunch of red flags and it's just not, they're just not resonating with you and how you feel and your values, just having
Mhm.
somebody there is just not worth it, you know.
That exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Uh-uh. Let's grab this comment from Natasha.
I think most men, majority of men, say too much when they feel like they have to prove something to me or impress. And I always tell a guy, like, listen, chill, relax, be yourself. You don't
Mhm.
gotta lie and
try to give me
Mm.
this image, try to paint this image in my head of who you were really like, but in actuality, you're not like that person. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So,
Mm.
Yep.
Got one more comment.
One more comment.
see, and that's why I always try to tell people take a break. You know, take a break after a relationship. When you
Mm-hmm.
are, when you take that break and you start to learn yourself and,
Mm-hmm.
heal, when you get back into a relationship, you can see the red flags. You don't, you know what I'm saying? Just let shit go just because you want to be in a relationship. At that time, it's just like, I know what I'm worth. I'm not going to put up with X, Y, and Z. So then you see the red flags that you don't like.
Hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, that is, Natasha definitely hit that on the nose there because a lot of people like to bounce from one situation to the other. It's like they just so afraid of facing themselves. What I also
Hmm.
concluded from, just listening to that talk was that what I, you this whole narrative of, oh, you need to submit to a man, you need to obey your man, and da 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 da
Yeah, I
da.
heard a lot about.
But
I heard a lot of that on that talk. Submit, submit,
but
submit.
let me ask you this: do you submit to a man with female characteristics?
No.
Do you obey, a husband if if he acts like a bitch? Like and I think a lot of people want you to accept them off of potential too. No, I'm not just accepting you for potential. I need to see some tangibles. Like I'm not expecting you to be a thousandaire and then a millionaire the next day, but I do want to see progress.
Well, that was the problem because we're talking about women who episode 16 we're talking about women who are having babies, being blamed for
Hmm.
having the babies, right? Because they're single and they should have picked better. And it's like you're telling people they should have picked better, meaning that you're expecting her to be more discerning, should have been more discerning, right? Of who you were fucking around with before you fucked around with them and found out, right?
Yeah.
But you also want the woman to give somebody a chance when she's probably not attracted and you're hounding them to you like, oh, like me, pick me, pick me, pick me. And but I wasn't attracted to you and now I'm giving you a chance and then I got what I got out of it, which was nothing. Because now I'm stuck with a pregnancy and you moved on because oh I don't like her attitude anymore. Well, things change, hormones change, things happen and I'm now a different person. I have responsibilities and they're looking at you like, oh well, you should have picked better. I i i wanted to, you didn't give me the opportunity to because you wanted me to see your potential. The potential wasn't good enough and now I
Nah.
should have picked better. And it's just like I said, then it's a vicious cycle of stupidity because it's like how, what, where do I win?
Uh nah.
Because
After a
oh, and
certain
if I
age, no
didn't
more
have the,
potential.
exactly, and then if I wanted to wait, and I waited. I did everything I needed to do for myself. I got my money, I got my place to live, so on and so forth. Well, what's wrong with you? How come nobody fucked you and got you pregnant? There must have been personality issues, and it probably wasn't. It's just that I waited. I didn't. I watched everyone fuck up, and I said I'm not going to do the same thing. And now I got issues because I wasn't with a man. I never got pregnant and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's another thing they'll say. They'll be like, "Oh, you'll see there's a problem with somebody if they don't have a child by a certain age or if they're not married by a certain age." Like, no,
Mm-hmm.
we need to stop putting this
Certain age things.
mindset. Yeah,
Yeah,
people got to move when they move.
exactly. Do things when they're
Because
ready to do it. Because I mean, to be honest, we're allowing if women are supposed to be doing things at a certain age, and something's wrong with them if they didn't do it by 40, then the same thing should go for the man. Like men don't have to have children, nor do they have to be in relationship just because they're young and available. Like he should be taking care of himself and doing just the same thing. You know. It should be a
Yeah.
happy balance, not expected for the woman to see potential while the man is not fucking around because these women ain't his up to his standards.
I think I think we should just into needing a man, not needing a man. I think it's fair that we could just have the basic human needs of food, water, and shelter. Those are basic needs
Mm-hmm.
that we should all have, you know?
Yeah, and have that
If I don't see that you
without
have
being
those basic
questioned.
things, I
Mm-hmm.
can't, you know, I can't just be like, okay, I'm gonna fuck with you, because you got potential, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's
Yeah,
grab these
exactly.
comments from Natasha.
When I meet that right guy, I'm gonna sit him down and be like, listen, I've been navigating most of my life. I've been navigating since I was 19 in my life as the provider for myself. You know what I'm saying? I've been
Mm-hmm.
the one on top doing what I need to do for me. So it's going to be hard for me. I'm not saying I don't want to be submissive. I'm going to tell him, part of me is a submissive woman, but it's going to take the right guy. And you're going to have to give me just a little time to be able to switch into that if that guy's the right person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say this to him if he ain't the right person, but you're going to have to give
Mm-hmm.
me a moment because I might trip back into those moments where Natasha, you got to take care of you, so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
bear with me, be patient.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth? People have these expectations of you, but it's like, okay, this is what I'm used to here. I'm used to taking care of myself. I
Mm-hmm.
get the whole submissive thing. I understand that. Also, when women were, this quote unquote submitting, the whole trajectory of their financial existence was different.
Mm-hmm.
Their husbands was taking care of everything. The economy wasn't the way it was. There wasn't no need for a two income household. Now it's more
Mm-hmm.
like a five income household.
Yeah. All the kids, mother and father, everybody gotta be working to bring some money to the table to survive this economy.
Oh
You know?
yeah. We got a comment
Yeah.
from Carol.
Another thing is when they say that you're a hoe because you open yourself up to all these guys, but then they call you
You're
a
giving
bitch
potential.
because you reject them. So, what do they expect? They expect you to be a hoe, open yourself up, or be a bitch and reject all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I
Yes.
mean, I know. I've been kind of like doing like the rejecting game. It's like, okay, I see
Mm-hmm.
this, that, and this. I'm done. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I snap back
Yeah.
out of that wanting that companionship when I like see certain behaviors, and I'm like, that's unattractive right there.
Mm,
You know.
yeah. I think it's just it's the behaviors that make you not do the things that they say is expected, which is the submission. Like if I gotta fight for something that you're saying that you should have provided for me, it's immediately unattractive. I find, if I
Mm,
gotta do things that you're saying you should be the one doing, then why are we having this conversation? Get it done, right? And that's it. Like, you're expecting such and such from me, you should, and you're saying that you're supposed to be doing things, then you should do it. Because the moment you don't do it, when you don't provide those things, it creates confusion. Therefore, it's immediately like you're making me putting me in my head where I have to make sense of this shit. And when I have to make sense of anything, then it's immediately unattractive. I lose all wanting to be in that relationship, kind of thing. It should
exactly.
it shouldn't it should be a easy flow. If that's what they want, it should be an easy flow. But I feel like people don't know what they want, so they say things because they heard things and not realize that they're not living their true characteristic. They're just being someone else. They're trying to be Andrew Tate, not be who they are. you know
Mm,
so then they get this masculine woman who's yelling at them one time, and then like being sensual and wanting to what's the word, submit. But I can't submit if I have to try to figure this shit out. Like, it should be easy. It should just be an easy flow. That's the way I look at it.
It's like they want that submission, you know, they want that commitment of submission based on nothing, you know?
Yeah, basically.
This
Yeah.
grad is comment from Natasha.
I'm supposed to.
Oh my god, that shit used to irk my nerves. Oh, how old are you? Oh, you don't have no kids? No. What are you waiting for? Like, what am I
Mhm.
supposed to say? What?
I mean, what am I
What's
waiting
my
for?
answer? What is the answer that is gonna be good for you to hear? Because that shit blows my mind. No, I don't have kids. Like, oh, what's wrong with me? I don't put up with bullshit. That's what's wrong with me.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I sure as hell don't ask people that question, why don't they have kids? Like, hey, I get it. Like, I would never tell somebody to rush, like, oh, you should have a kid before 30, or, because, that's the best time to have a child according to science. Not my words, that's what their words are. But,
Hmm.
I would never, I'd be like, hey, look, you need to have like some financial, not some, you need to have a little bit more than some financial stability before you start having kids and stuff, Like, because childcare
Yeah,
is expensive. Like, I know, I seen a
that shit was
Facebook
hard.
friend. Yeah, I seen a Facebook friend. She live in Jackson Heights, and
Hmm.
the places that was for childcare for her daughter was like 2,500 a month. Who the
Yep.
hell can afford that?
I was
So
talking
it's
to
like,
my neighbor.
why are we rushing to have kids with situations like that?
Yeah, I was talking to my neighbor, and I was complaining about my taxes and how I got chump change back. And it was like, oh, we got a lot of money back. And I was like, what happened? And it was like, oh, the child tax. And they paid for summer and for during school season a total of $7,000 in childcare. So they got a
Sheesh.
large lump sum back. And I said to my husband, I was like, Alex, you need to get back to work because you can't be watching my kids and we ain't getting no money in taxes.
Oh
That's
boy.
crazy.
Yeah, that
We,
is.
I was like,
Mm-mm-mm.
we ain't getting nothing back. Nothing. Not.
Are they really getting something back, or they just making back the money that they spent on childcare?
I guess they just got back the money that they spent on childcare.
They just got back
Like
the money,
if
so it's still not,
yeah,
a win-win there.
yeah, they took the money and they gave it back to them. I didn't
And
get
then
any
they end up
money
spending on
because
something
I didn't
else.
spend any money. Yeah, I
It's
guess they
not like
did with
it's not like
more
they
childcare.
re-spended it. Yeah, it's not like they put it towards the child care. They probably just was like, okay, well, we'll figure out the child care later. Let's go ahead and pay for our cruise, our family cruise and stuff.
Yeah, it's hard. That's all I got. And they're a married couple. They're a married couple
Mm.
living in an apartment, and it's hard. And they're blessed with the situation they have, but this shit is hard. You can't
I ain't
you
trying to live in
if
no
you're doing it
apartment.
on your own, I commend you because the shit is hard.
Yeah. Let's grab this comment from Chelsea.
Mm-mm-mm.
So, what does submitting to the right person really look like, right? Like, what does submitting to a man or your partner really look like? Like, what does that mean, especially like in terms of gender roles? Because that phrase has never sat right with me, and
I know.
I don't want to dismiss something if I'm just being like closed minded because of the language and maybe just not understanding what it means. Like, what does that mean to submit to your man?
The
So I feel, for one, it's just a trending word across
That's
social
what I'm
media
saying.
now.
I was just gonna say the same thing. It means nothing. It's
Now,
just a
here's what
word
I
they're
will
using
say.
what they want.
Here's what I will say. So I was speaking to an older coworker of mine who has been married
Mm-hmm.
for quite some time and is a Jehovah's Witness. And I was just kind of like talking to her about some of the experience that I had as of late, and
Mhm.
she was just like, okay, the submission happens when there's a wedding date in place, not an
Mhm.
engagement, but when a wedding date is in place. She said that's when the submission happens and
Mhm.
everything. So as far as what that entails, that's probably based on each couple. I know that both her and her husband, they do share the cooking roles.
Mhm.
I know I hear
I
her
find
talking
that as
about
submission.
cleaning. Yeah,
I find that as submission because you're doing what you're doing something that you both agreed upon, and you're like, okay, I'll do that. That's submission.
right.
That's it. Oh, I don't cook, but I do. You do. Can you cook? And you're like, yeah, I'll cook. That's submission. Being the one that does the homework with the kids, submission. You're submitting to that role, and that's all it is. And it's just an agreed upon thing. It's not like that's what I find in a relationship. It's something that you agreed on, and you do it, and it's your job, and not like getting on all four knees. Because if you liking each other enough, both of y'all will get on fours, all fours, and do what you want to do for that person. Which is the same thing. Submission. I look at it so it's what you're willing to do.
Well, here's
It's
a
just that
question that
people are expecting you to be willing to do something for something that ain't worth doing it for. That's all.
so here was a question I was presented with a couple months ago that then I heard on social media that I probably think that person probably got this question from social media. So I was asked, would you make your man some food 3 o'clock in the morning? Would you make him a sandwich 3 o'clock in the
Oh,
morning or whatever?
oh, I saw that sandwich. It looked good too. Go on. I was
So I
like,
mean, me for me, it ain't. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll make a sandwich. What that doesn't take too long to make. It's whatever. But then it's like I seen it on social media. I'm like, okay, so this is just what's a freaking question you got from social media from one of these like, you know, manosphere guys. Like, okay, if she's not
uh
willing to
huh.
make you a sandwich 3 o'clock in the morning, she's not marriage material. But I thought that was
Mhm.
like a genuine question from him. So when I seen that, I'm like, he just listened to that bullshit from social media and then want to ask me. So
All I know is I've done a lot of things in the middle of the morning, for my husband, and vice versa. You know, like I
is the one hand
remember.
washes the other.
That's basically it. I woke up with an excruciating cramp in my leg. I screamed. My husband woke up. He was like, "What's wrong?" I said, "My leg is cramping. My leg is cramping. I can't get up. I can't walk it off or anything." He got up, maybe 2 in the morning, massaged my leg.
Aw.
I find that as submission. He was like, I'm going to do this for you. You didn't ask. I'm going to do this for you. And that's basically it. If he wakes up and says, babe, I'm in the mood and I'm awake enough to do it, I'll do it. That's submission. That's basically it. You're just willing to do something for somebody, but it has to be for a reason. Like, it's you can't just do it because somebody, you're at the dinner table and he's talking about, I want a submissive woman. What the fuck does that mean? I don't know what that means. You got to give me a reason for it. That's it. You can't just expect these things to happen. The words mean nothing. It's all action. That's all I'm saying. That's the way I look
Yep.
at it. It's just actions.
Action. Not to fuck a boat. Sweet. This guy is coming from Natasha.
Ooh, yes, Carol. Like that used to piss me. Like y'all dudes be so confused. I mean, like y'all quick to call somebody a hoe, right? But then you sit up here. Oh, this guy once said to me, "Oh, New York women, they're so stuck
Mm-hmm.
up. Oh, I like Miami chicks. They're easy to get along with, and they it
Mm-hmm.
don't take that much for them to put out." I'm just like, wow. So it's like, what do you really want them? Okay.
Yeah, what do you
Right
want? You
now,
want sex? Go get a
you're
prostitute.
not making no fucking sense to me, son. Like, what's going on?
Mm-mm. No,
And that's another thing
nonsense.
about that whole putting out and stuff. Like, I kind of put someone on to Montauk Chia. I don't know if you guys, well, not you
Nope.
guys, you ladies are familiar with Montauk Chia, but he has like a lot of like books on sexual healing and stuff, but using, intimacy as healing and whatnot, and how, the man and woman have reflexology points on their organs, and when they line up to each other and be in certain positions, and do
Mhm.
certain exercises, it can be a very fulfilling experience. So, I kind of put somebody on to that book, and I guess it kind of excited them to make them think that I was like ready to like take that there with them, but that wasn't the case. I was just,
Mhm.
kindly
Informing them,
put in,
enlightening them.
just yeah, examining, discerning and stuff to see how, he basically reacts to this. But he was like, oh, this is a big part of healing. It got to be done sexually as well. No, not with the
Mhm.
mindset that you may be carrying, or not with,
Mhm.
the health, that the current health that you in, because you can really screw somebody up, having off energy and you intimate with somebody. So no, sir,
Mhm.
you go ahead and enjoy your Miami chicks who put out soon,
Yeah.
and that's all there is to it.
Sooner than later.
Let's grab this other
Us New
comment from
Yorkers, I keep it
Natasha.
to ourselves.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it, click it down, like this lady said
Mhm.
from one of these shows back in the days.
And I feel like men that, want to go overseas or,
Are you talking about
go to
passport
Puerto
bros?
Rico or Mexico and they say, oh, the women are better
Philippines.
down there. They act like those women don't have body counts. Like, the body count
Mhm.
question don't come into play as soon as they leave New York, as soon as they leave
Mhm.
America, like, I'll be like, what? Like, y'all.
It's the
I think,
contradictions for me.
yeah, it's a
That's all I gotta
contradiction, because
say.
I think what they fail to realize when you go to the lower income, countries and stuff, I, the women, a lot of times the women tend to be the breadwinners.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
because there may not
And
be the amount of jobs over there like there is over here. So,
mhm.
back when Venezuela first got in their economic debacle, they had to put out for loaves of bread.
Just for bread.
Anybody can get, how hard is it to get a loaf of bread? Like, oh, I just got to give you a loaf of
Mhm.
bread for the snatch. Oh, here's
Mhm.
three loaves of bread. How
Mhm.
much is a loaf of bread? It
I
can
can say
range.
that loaf of bread ain't really rising in price like them eggs, but yeah, it's still expensive.
Yeah,
Bread is
but yeah.
expensive. Yeah.
But needless to say, just because you think a woman has a low body count, I don't know, she doesn't. So,
No,
whatever a low body
she just
count is, yeah,
see. I was just the type of person that I didn't shit where I slept, so people didn't know.
you shouldn't, you know.
That, that's all I have to say about that.
Let's grab another comment from Carol.
I believe submission is a dual thing.
Yep.
If
Mhm.
I have to, I want to love and respect, and I expect love and respect.
Love and respect, exactly.
Yes.
Mhm.
Let's grab this comment from Chelsea.
I think I've seen that too, and I even thought about it because I was watching Married at First Sight, or one of those
Mhm.
reality shows where they get married and you're watching them, and I would have no problem cooking at 3 o'clock in the morning if we both up and we both doing stuff or doing it or whatever. But you wake me up dead out of my
Mhm.
sleep to come feed you, nigga. Please.
Oh yeah, that is kind of unreasonable. Like you're in the deep sleep, and they're like, "Oh, make me a sandwich." Now that's just getting too cavemanish for me, you know.
I can't remember this movie. It was what's his name? The one that always says googly moogly. I can't remember that guy's name.
Googly moogly. Oh man.
Good googly moogly. Fuck, I can't remember his name, but he was in the movie. He was complaining because his wife wouldn't suck his dick. Do you know that movie I'm talking about?
Oh man. No, I don't know.
It
Sounds
was
really.
like a bunch of men, and one of the women wanted to get married, and the guy left her at the altar, and she went
Oh.
crazy, started shooting a gun and stuff like that. Dang, somebody knows what I'm talking about.
All right, let's get through these
But
comments to see if we
yeah, go
have
ahead.
we have the
Maybe the answer.
maybe the answer.
Yeah.
Whew. That kind of triggered me a little bit because my dad one time had me cook for him at like, it was probably like 1 in the morning. I
Mm-mm.
purposely like stayed out past my curfew and came home, and he didn't cook anything for himself, and he told me to cook. I was like, what? Like, what the fuck I look like? I ain't your wife. Like, my mom was at work, so
Mm-hmm.
that shit kind of annoyed the shit out of me too. I was like, nigga, suppose I ain't come home, you was never gonna eat? Like,
Probably not. Probably not.
Let's see, you got some more comments.
Oh my gosh.
the truth of the matter is, men don't remember their body count.
They don't. I don't remember mine.
Like,
I don't remember their
I
names
could
though.
probably count on one hand how many guys really remember everybody they slept with. They ain't keeping count. They are not keeping count. Maybe the nerds are. But I'm wrong
You
for saying
silly.
that. Nah, but I don't think they're not keeping count of themselves to
I
ask
say
that
Sheldon
question.
would keep count. Sheldon would keep count.
So
He'd know
we got
who
some
he
comments here from Paying Day Joe. I'm not gonna say it correctly because I don't want to get flagged, but just by reading your comments, I'm not gonna read your comments because they coming off as very spamish and foolish. But
Oh,
let's
okay.
go get comment from Carol.
Did it have Martin Lawrence in it?
Maybe. Shit. I can't remember the name.
How about
All I know is
Natasha's?
that he was like so
I
mad
was just
because go
I was
ahead, go
just
ahead.
talking about the brothers with Morris
Yes.
Chestnut and the other
Yes.
guys. Yeah, that movie's hilarious.
Yeah. So basically because she wasn't sucking his, you know what? He was upset, and I'm just like I I I understand the upsetness behind it, but it was like the way he was doing things was very like I would use the word cavemanish. Like it was just like
See, that's
force.
why you gotta
Like
discern
he like
before you.
literally he did it for her just so he can do it for she can he it wasn't because he wanted to, it was because he was trying to get it reciprocated.
See,
And I don't
that's
even
why you
know if
got
she
to
liked it.
discern before you even get into that situation. I know I see a lot of
Mhm.
guys on Facebook. They'll post certain things like on
Mhm.
that matter to see which one of their friends is okay with performing fellatio and stuff. You
Yeah, I
know,
noticed that too. Yeah.
they'll say stuff like, "Oh, women who give head should get an extra $1,000 on their taxes." They'll say stuff like that just for the women to be like, "Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I need to get more
Like,
of my
oh, she's the
taxes."
one.
And then the next thing you know,
She's
they
the
in your
one.
DM talk about what that mouth do. So
Sending
let's.
dick pics.
Oh God, no dick pics. Let's see.
one of my
Tasha has a
Instagram
comment.
pages, one of my Instagram pages still get that shit. And I'm just like, this is
Really?
crazy. And then I show it to Alex. And he's like, why are you showing this? I'm like, I'm just as alarmed as you are. People are
Mm-mm-mm.
crazy.
People
Till
are
today, it
crazy.
still pops up in my DM.
I'm
Yep.
glad I don't get that because I don't know. That's just That's insulting. That's disrespectful. I didn't
Mhm.
ask to
It's
see
the
that.
Nope, and that's the page that I only have pictures on it, and that one is the one that I get those kind of pictures from.
Great.
So crazy.
Grab the comment from Natasha.
That particular character was D.L. Hughley and his wife.
D.L.
Yeah,
Hughley.
she wasn't sucking him off.
Exactly.
I
Yo,
can't
I
stand D.L.
honestly,
Hughley.
that's what I was getting ready. I'm not really fond
I
of
don't
him
think he's
as the
funny.
DL Hughley he is, let alone the characters he plays. Like, I'm not fond of him. He gives me female characteristics sometimes.
And and then a lot of men with female characteristics be wanting you to, like, oh, you need to obey your husband and stuff. But how
Mhm.
can you do that when you have a lot of estrogen coming out your pores? So,
Mhm.
I'm not saying that all
Yep.
men have this. There's just a very small percentage of men who exude masculinity through their pores, and then there's the other
Mhm.
ones that they have the man parts, but they think like females. They talk like females.
Mhm. Yeah.
Grab this comment from Carol.
I think the submission these guys are talking about is that you bow down to them so they can step on your back. But the submission I'm thinking of is that I am at your level, loving you and respecting you as you are loving and respecting me.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes.
So
It's got,
they basically want a slave. That's what they want. They
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 just
want
want a
they
sense
want
of
you to accept.
power.
Yeah.
They
So,
want to
and
have
if you want that,
control
if
over
you want
you.
a sense of power from a woman, then you're definitely exuding feminine characteristics. That's the way I look at it. Because I'm a woman. There's no need to even come to that conclusion. That's the way I look
Mm.
at it.
Grab this comment from Chelsea.
But don't we all have female and masculine energy? Like,
Yes.
maybe, am I being too literal? Like, what do you guys mean, like, feminine energy, like, from a man that you can't submit to or respect?
Yeah, that's a very
Yeah.
good question. I'm just basically just going by what that particular person will be giving more of the energy to. Like, if I see that, you're just very insecure, you're complaining all the time. Not saying that that's associated with women, but
But that's
I
what
don't
they
see that.
associate with women. That's the way I
Yeah,
look at it. I
that's
use
how they look
words
at it.
what they use the association, and therefore I'm saying if that's the case, you're acting like a bitch right now,
Right.
and it's a turn off.
Or if you're
That makes
seeking
sense.
like a lot of attention,
Mm-hmm.
you just got to show everybody, oh, look at me. I feel like that's just, I don't think that that's what men do. So
Yeah. And the same
they,
thing for women, because when you're talking about masculine energy, they're saying a woman has masculine energy because she's making more money, or she's independent, or whatever the case they would identify as masculine. So I'm just rotating that to explain how I feel about a man who's showing feminine characteristics.
hmm, yes.
So just using their words against them to explain how I feel about
Yeah,
them. That's it.
that's why it's important to listen. Why important
Mm-hmm.
to listen, because then you can use, what a person says, not necessarily against them, but yes, against them.
Mm-hmm.
So I know somebody was
Good.
telling me, oh, I don't want you to get out of your out of your routine and everything. I don't want to stop none of that. But then it's like when I say I got to get off the phone or I got to go do something, you still keeping me on the phone, then you're full of shit from what you said before.
Yeah. That basically, yeah.
This guy is
I'm
coming from Chelsea.
just using your words against you. That's
Okay,
all.
okay, I think I'm picking up what you're putting down now.
Okay, good.
Okay. And Carol.
But you can't assign that situation to every woman because every woman is masculine for a reason. Maybe they lost a husband, so they have to be masculine to support the family, take care of the
Mm-hmm.
children, pay the bills. That's
Mm-hmm.
masculinity. She has a job. What is she supposed to just sit in the street with the children, poor, desolate, waiting for a man to come swoop her up and take care of her? These men don't want to take care of you. All they do is want sex.
Not definitely not your kids. Definitely not your kids. They ain't trying to take care of that. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
So I mean,
I'm not.
there's I know men that said that they would rather deal with a woman with kids than to make a woman pregnant and have kids. Like they'd rather
But then
have the
that's
family,
stupid
immediate
because
family already.
because then they on the flip side they be like, oh, they be making fun of women, talk about, oh, I got 5 kids. If you want me, you gotta, you know, I come with a package deal, and then they make jokes on that.
Mhm.
So it's like there's just so much
Mhm.
like contradictory information on, the internet and what people think that they're thinking, but they're not really thinking.
Exactly. So, well, that's where the discernment comes in because you really want to figure out the person you're gonna be fucking with, right? You
Yeah,
want to
you
you
have
want to
to.
hear because they could be just saying what they hear all the time, but then you dig a little deeper, you find out. But um, it's just hard to want to dig deeper when people don't want to change or they want to say what they want to say, and because you're a woman, don't tell me how to think and blah blah this. So when you find somebody you can talk to, then you can get to that point. But I don't know how easy it is to find somebody to want to talk to these days. Some people don't
It's
want to
it's
talk, so you don't even know what the hell's going on in their head.
Yeah. And then,
Mm-hmm.
just from a past episode, I know Executive, he made like a good funny comment, like he wished relationships was like getting a job. So that way
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of like hear from their exes, like, oh, I gotta at least hear from like at least 2 of your exes to get an idea of who you are. You know?
But that would be dating. Can women date? Are they allowed to date? Is it only a man thing? Because when you date, like what's her name? Steve Harvey's daughter, she's basically jumping from one man to another, you know. So,
And the funny thing is that they assuming that she's sleeping with all of them, which I don't know. I'm not in their
mm-mm.
bedroom, so I couldn't say. Let's
Okay.
grab these 2 comments from Natasha.
Yes, to me, a healthy relationship includes both partners to be submissive, and that is my definition of that
I
is
think it's fun.
basically thinking about the other person when I make decisions. Will she
Yep.
like
Mm-hmm.
this? Will he like this? You know what I'm saying? Are they able
Exactly.
to carry out this certain act or whatever it is? You know what I'm saying? Thinking
Mm-hmm.
not only of myself when I make decisions. I have to remember it's us, it's not just me. That's
Right.
how
Mm-hmm.
I define being submissive.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, thinking about the other person, not
Because
just
you
thinking of the
wanna
way
you
you
wanna
want.
show how much you care about them, and it shouldn't be because I'm a woman. I shouldn't be buying gifts and doing things. I just got my husband what they call it, the Apple Watch, and he was just like so happy, and I was like, look at him, look at all happy and shit. This is so awesome. You know what I mean? Like, so I should be able to do for him just like he does for me. It shouldn't be just a one way thing. He shouldn't be just giving me gifts while I'm just laying down on my.
Nope. Let's grab another comment from Tasha.
I vibrate mostly in my masculine energy, and so does a lot of the women in my family, down to, my ancestors. We were
Mm-hmm.
warriors, we were fighters. So it's hard to switch that off,
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to switch that off. And I knew that before even finding out about my ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at just the immediate women in my family. They're very strong women. Majority of the women in my family, they're the breadwinners. You know what I'm saying? So they're the ones that takes charge and have jobs that are very masculine driven.
Mm.
Yeah.
If I was
Right.
talking earlier and I just disappeared, somebody was calling me. Forgive me.
Oh, okay. I knew there was like an interesting silence. All good. Just got this
Yeah.
comment from Carol.
The sad thing is that these women listen to them and judge themselves
Mhm.
by this, and it just
Mhm.
lowers their standards and it
Their self
lowers
esteem.
the outlook of themselves.
Yeah.
Nah. Yeah, you got to be careful who you listen to. Always discerned and, you know, listen, but then kind of take everything with a grain of salt, from
Yeah.
people too, you know.
Okay.
And that's all I'm going to say on that. And
Mhm.
the most important thing is for people to be themselves.
Yeah.
Be themselves and, just be willing to accept people's selves. Like, I want you to be yourself, be your total self with me, so I can decide
Mhm.
whether I want to move forward with you or, if I want to submit to you.
Yeah. Oh, that's where you just got to go through the numbers. I know people get tired of it, of doing all that, but if you just settle, then you're just gonna come across something that you're not gonna be happy with. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's so true. You can't ever be like, oh, my age, or I gotta hurry up and or this or that, or the winter's
Hmm.
coming up, it's cuffing season coming up soon after,
Oh, it
and
is,
so
right?
yeah,
It's
cuffing season's
cuffing
coming up soon.
season. Need somebody to hug up on. Yep. Okay.
Well, be careful, because people may not be worth hugging up on. But
Hmm.
oh man. Oh, got one more comment.
Great discussion, ladies. I'm about to bounce around these stereo streets, see what everybody's talking about. I see a lot of people on, but good to
Okay.
see y'all.
Good
Oh,
to
Oh,
see
same
y'all.
here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna bounce a little around these streets too. Let's see
Oh,
what's
yeah.
up. Hmm.
All right. Well, it
We
was
got the
good.
night. Yeah, it was pretty dope. So y'all, we
Hmm.
will resume season 2 on October 29th.
Hmm.
And we'll have some nice updates, upgrades for you. I'm really excited
Hmm.
about that. We're definitely
Yes.
gonna bring
Yes.
some more heat, bring some more intimate or taboo discussions.
I would love to bring
'Cause
some more interviews.
Oh yeah, most definitely. The interviews were
Yeah.
great. Really loved those interviews that we had, especially with we care Cairo. I still
Yes.
haven't got the supplements yet, but I will
Hmm.
soon.
Yeah.
All right, so cool. So before we wrap up this season 1 recap on episode 40, Azima, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on TikTok and Instagram as Azima the Only. That's Azima the Only. And you can find me on YouTube and Facebook as Ozidi Wellness and Fitness. That's Ozidi Wellness and Fitness. And where can we find you, Jovani?
So yes, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Camp Jogo Fit. That's KampJogofit. And then also you can subscribe to our YouTube channel on for the Wine Fine podcast to listen to older episodes.
Yes.
And it was definitely a pleasure. I love when we can have these nice, stimulating conversations.
Yes, it's awesome.
No,
And we made it
definitely
this far,
awesome.
40 episodes. That's pretty
Oh
cool. I'm
yes,
glad.
we go and be going further.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. It was
All
good,
right,
guys.
y'all.
Thank you for all your comments. I really appreciate it.
Oh yes, have a great night.
Have a good
Peace.
night. Bye.